The first scream cut through the bustling market like a knife. A man staggered away from Emem's food stall, clutching his throat as insects spilled from his mouth. A woman, halfway through her plate of jollof rice, shrieked as fat worms wriggled out of her food, falling to the ground with wet, sickening thuds. The sweet aroma of Emem's famous rice and stew turned sour, replaced by the rancid stench of decay. And then it happened. A hissing sound rose from the pot of bubbling soup. A snake, small but menacing, slithered out, its forked tongue flicking at the horrified onlookers. "Witchcraft!" someone yelled. The crowd erupted. Plates shattered, and torches were lit. People surged toward Emem's stall, their fury palpable. "She has cursed us. Chase her out." Emem grabbed her shawl and ran, her bare feet pounding against the dirt road as rocks and insults flew after her. Tears streamed down her face as she clutched the wooden bowl to her chest, the same bowl that had brought her unimaginable success, had now turned her life into a nightmare. "You cannot escape me," a voice whispered in her mind. It was the bowl. Its sinister tone sent chills down her spine. "Feed me, or I will destroy everything." But Emem had nothing left to give, and now the villagers wanted her gone, or worse. As their shouts and torchlight faded behind her, she disappeared into the forest, her only thought to return to the woman who had given her the cursed bowl, Mama Naga. Months earlier, Emem had been just another struggling food vendor in Benin City. Her small wooden stall, nestled at the edge of the bustling market, sold rice and stew, egusi soup, and plantains. She had learned to cook from her late mother, and her meals had once been the pride of her community. But times had changed. Competition was fierce. A new, shiny restaurant had opened nearby, offering exotic dishes that drew the wealthier customers. Emem's regulars dwindled, and soon, even the poorest could no longer afford her meals. She was drowning in debt, her landlord threatening eviction, and she couldn't afford to replace her pots and pans, now rusted from overuse. One night, after a long day of selling barely enough to cover her costs, Emem sat alone in her room. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, but it was nothing compared to the weight of despair crushing her chest. She remembered the whispers she had overheard at the market, a story about a powerful woman deep in the forest, one who could grant anything your heart desired. "Mama Naga," she murmured to herself. The tales were always followed by warnings, but Emem was desperate. She had nothing to lose. The next evening, under the cover of darkness, she made her way into the forest. The path was eerie, the sounds of rustling leaves and distant animal calls making her heart race. When she reached the temple, she paused, awestruck. The building shimmered under the moonlight, its walls glinting like snake scales. The air was heavy with the scent of incense, and a faint hissing sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. The massive doors creaked open, revealing a grand hall. At the center sat Mama Naga, her beauty both enchanting and terrifying. Her golden skin glowed in the dim light, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders like a waterfall. A massive serpent coiled lazily around her neck, its emerald eyes locked onto Emem. "You've come," Mama Naga said, her voice smooth and commanding. "What is it you seek?" Emem fell to her knees. "Please, Mama Naga, my business is failing. My debts are crushing me. I just want a chance to survive." The sorceress tilted her head, her gaze piercing. "Survive or prosper?" Emem hesitated, then confessed, "I want to be the best. I want everyone to eat my food, to know my name. I want wealth and success." Mama Naga smiled faintly, as though she had heard this plea many times before. She reached beside her throne and pulled out a wooden bowl. It was simple but mesmerizing, its surface etched with glowing, shifting symbols. "This is the never-empty bowl," Mama Naga said. "Whatever you place in it will multiply endlessly. You will never run out. With this, your stall will thrive, and your name will spread far and wide. But—" She leaned closer, her golden eyes narrowing. "The bowl has its own hunger. You must feed it, and if you fail—" "I won't fail," Emem said quickly, her desperation overriding her fear. She reached for the bowl with trembling hands. Mama Naga watched her with an unreadable expression. "Very well. Go." At first, the bowl was a miracle. Emem placed a small portion of rice and stew inside, and it multiplied endlessly, filling pot after pot. The food was delicious, rich with flavors that even she had never tasted before. Her stall became the busiest in the market, with lines stretching down the street. Within weeks, Emem's life transformed. She replaced her old cookware with shiny new ones, paid off her debts, and sent money to her siblings. Her name spread beyond Benin City, attracting customers from far and wide. She was living her dream. But the bowl's demands soon grew sinister. At first, it required fresh ingredients daily, which was manageable. Then it began to reject ordinary spices, demanding rare and expensive herbs that Emem had to scour the city to find. One night, as she prepared for the next day, the bowl began to glow. A voice, low and menacing, filled her mind. "Blood," it whispered. "Chicken blood." Emem froze, her knife trembling in her hand. But when the bowl began to rattle violently, she gave in, slaughtering a chicken and letting its blood drip into the food. The bowl's glow subsided, and the food it produced tasted better than ever. The demands didn't stop there. Days later, it required goat blood. Emem obeyed, though guilt churned in her stomach. Then one night, the bowl whispered again. "Human blood." "No," she whispered, horrified. The bowl rattled, its glow turning a fiery red. Emem refused. The next day, disaster struck. Customers complained of sour-tasting food. Worms appeared in her pots, crawling through the rice and stew. Then, as the crowd gathered in shock and disgust, a snake slithered out of her largest pot, sending people screaming into the streets. The villagers turned on her. Rocks flew, her stall was destroyed, and she was branded a witch. Chased into the forest, Emem stumbled through the darkness, the cursed bowl clutched to her chest. She collapsed at Mama Naga's temple, sobbing. "Please, Mama Naga, take it back. I can't do this anymore." Mama Naga appeared, her expression calm but cold. "You fed your greed knowing the price. The bowl is no longer mine. Its hunger will follow you forever. Please," Emem begged. The sorceress's gaze hardened. "Then you will live in exile, far from those you betrayed." Emem was left alone in the forest, cursed to live with the bowl's endless hunger. Her name became a cautionary tale in Benin City, a reminder of the price of unchecked greed. Back in her temple, Mama Naga watched through her serpent's eyes, a faint smile playing on her lips. "Greed," she murmured, "always devours its own."
We'd like to hear from you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting stories. We post once a week. See you next time.